Imagine walking into a dark, damp cave in northern Iraq. The air is freezing. The smell of crushed rock and old dust fills your lungs. In the dirt, you find a skeleton. Archaeologists call him Shanidar III, but his bones aren't normal. The rib cage is impossibly thick. The brow ridge is heavy, casting a dark shadow over the eye sockets. And right on the left rib, a deep, violent puncture wound, a clean slice. This isn't a tragic hunting accident. It's a 40,000-year-old murder scene. The victim, a Neanderthal, an apex predator built like a modern bodybuilder. The killer, someone weaker, someone smaller. Us, Homo sapiens. But here's where it gets terrifying. We didn't just kill this one Neanderthal. Over the course of 10,000 grueling years, we wiped them entirely off the face of the earth. A complete global extinction of our closest cousins. How did a weaker, frailer species annihilate the supreme masters of Ice Age Europe? We're told it was our intelligence, better tools, but that's a lie. The truth is much darker and far more violent. We had invisible weapons, weapons so bizarre and terrifying, I'll reveal them in just a few minutes. To understand the war, you have to understand the enemy. For over 200,000 years, Neanderthals ruled the frozen forests of Eurasia. They were the undisputed kings of a brutal, unforgiving world. If you fought a Neanderthal hand to hand, you would die, instantly. Their bones were dense, their muscles were massive. When scientists study Neanderthal skeletons, they find a shocking pattern of injuries. Broken necks, shattered arms, cracked skulls. These injuries match only one profession in the modern world: professional rodeo riders. Why? Because Neanderthals didn't throw spears from a safe distance. They jumped directly onto the backs of furious one-ton woolly mammoths and stabbed them face to face. They were biological tanks. Then, a new shadow crossed the horizon. Sapiens walked out of Africa. We entered their ice kingdom. The invasion had begun. Historians used to think sapiens just marched in like an organized army and slaughtered them, a swift, brutal conquest. But archaeological evidence paints a very different picture. It wasn't a blitzkrieg. It was a 10,000-year trench war. Decade after decade, century after century, a slow, grinding war of attrition. Sapiens pushing into a valley, Neanderthals pushing back, generations living and dying on the front lines of a frozen wasteland. We were outmatched physically. A Neanderthal could snap a sapien's arm like a dry twig. They had bigger brains than we do. Let that sink in. They had a larger cranial capacity. They were not dumb brutes. They buried their dead with flowers. They wore eagle claws as jewelry. They planned complex ambushes in the dark. So if they were stronger and just as smart, why are they ghosts? But everything we thought we knew about this ancient war is wrong. You see, it wasn't just a war of spears and fire. When sapiens met Neanderthals in the cold, isolated nights of ancient Europe, we didn't just fight them, we made it with them. We merged. The shocking twist of human history isn't that we killed every single one of them, it's that we absorbed them. If you look closely at your own DNA today, the Neanderthals are still there, sleeping inside your cells. You are part Neanderthal. Your immune system, your ability to survive the cold, even your allergies, they are genetic ghosts left behind by the enemy we slept with. But interbreeding doesn't explain the empty caves. It doesn't explain the extinction. What was our ultimate advantage? What broke the Neanderthals? It comes down to two terrifying innovations. First, the coward's weapon. Neanderthals were incredibly brave. They fought up close. But sapiens, we were cowards, and cowardice is a brilliant survival strategy. We invented the spear thrower, the atlatl, a piece of carved wood that acted as a lever, allowing us to launch darts at deadly speeds from 100 feet away. While the Neanderthal charged head-on into the teeth of a cave lion, the sapien hid in the bushes and sniped it from the shadows. In a skirmish, A Neanderthal couldn't get close enough to snap our necks before a Sapien's spear pierced his chest. Second, we made a pact with the devil. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans and wolves were bitter enemies, but Sapiens did the unthinkable. We domesticated them. We formed a hunting alliance with the deadliest pack predators on Earth. Imagine a Neanderthal hunting party, just 5 heavily muscled men walking quietly through the snow. Now imagine a sapien hunting party, 10 humans flanked by 15 vicious tamed wolves. The wolves tracked the scent, they cornered the prey, the sapiens moved in for the kill. Neanderthals never domesticated dogs, they fought the ice alone. We brought an army of monsters with us. But the most dangerous weapon wasn't the wolf or the flying spear, it was our mind. Imagine this. A Neanderthal tribe consists of maybe 15 to 20 people. They're intimate, loyal, fierce, but they're completely isolated. Now imagine a sapien tribe. It has 150 people. How is that possible? Because we developed a freak genetic mutation, the cognitive revolution. We learned to gossip. We learned to tell complex stories. We could talk about things that didn't physically exist in the real world. Animal spirits, gods, myths. Because we could believe in shared fictions, strangers could cooperate. A Neanderthal could only trust the person standing right next to him. A sapien could trust a stranger from 100 miles away without ever meeting them, just because they wore the same shell necklace or worshipped the same forest spirit. Our invisible weapon wasn't a sharper blade, it was the birth of mass cooperation. We formed massive trade networks. Archaeologists find sapiens caps with cell shells from hundreds of miles away. When a sapiens tribe was attacked, they called for backup. A massive army of kin would arrive over the hills. When a Neanderthal tribe was attacked, they fought alone, and they died alone. Slowly, valley by valley, the campfires of the Neanderthals started to flicker out. They were forced out of the rich hunting grounds, pushed into the harshest, most barren corners of the ancient earth. Their final stronghold was a dark cave system in Gibraltar, at the very southern edge of Europe. Gorham's Cave, looking out at the unforgiving ocean, nowhere left to run. Imagine being the last of your kind, sitting in the freezing dark, watching the strange, chatty invaders with their smaller bodies claiming the world that used to be yours. You don't know you're extinct. You only know the forests are getting emptier and the enemies are multiplying. The 10,000-year war ended not in a massive cinematic battle, but in silence. We starved them out. We outcompeted them. We stole their hunting grounds, and we absorbed their remaining survivors into our own bloodlines. A quiet end to a majestic species. Today, we are the only humans left, but we are haunted by their memory, haunted by the giants we overthrew. Psychologists call it the Uncanny Valley, that sudden spike of terror we feel when we see something that looks almost human, but not quite. Some scientists believe this isn't just a quirk of the brain, it is an ancient reflex, a deep genetic trauma locked in our minds. We evolved to fear the Uncanny Valley because 40,000 years ago there was another human species roaming the earth, and we had to violently erase them. The ultimate apex predator isn't dead. Look in the mirror. We are the monsters of our own story.